Hello there, it's Michael from the RSPB. Absolutely delighted to be here to try and see if I can answer some of your questions. There's been loads of tricky ones coming through. Wish me luck. Do you have any good ideas for nature-based activities to do with under fives? Yes, I do. So there's loads of things you can do. First and foremost, better than my tips, have a look at this Nature Discovery Pack for the family. That's a pretty good one. If you go online, you'll be able to get that with the RSPB. That's pretty good. First plug. But there's some stuff that I do with Hannah in the garden which is absolutely great. She's under 5, but she's really inquisitive. First thing I'd say is have fun. Now, Hannah absolutely loves flowers. She loves the colours, she loves the smells, and she loves the fact that all the butterflies and the bees and everything like to flutter by them as well. So, one thing that we tend to do is in the garden, go around, choose one flower of each different colour, pick them, bring them into the house, leave the rest, put them in a bowl, and then pop them onto a piece of card with double-sided sticky tape. That then turns into something like this. And you can see there's a lot of purple. So that tells you exactly what you've got in your garden and kind of what time of year it is. If we'd have done that 2 or 3 weeks ago, most of those flowers would have been yellow. She also loves creating perfume. So with the same said flowers, get yourself a bowl, pop some water in it, drop the petals into the water, and you've got yourself a nice little pretty arrangement, but it's pretty good fun. What does Michael think is the most important RSPB reserve for butterflies? I think there's got to be a shout out for a couple. Haweswater in the Lake District is a phenomenal place for mountain ringlet. Blean Woods is incredible, is the most important place in the UK for heath fritillaries, again a really rare butterfly. But I'd say the winner, and again this all comes down to managing some of these places specifically for these rare species, and so the techniques and the knowledge and the if you like the work that's done by the teams on the ground there is just phenomenal. But the winner would probably be Winterbourne Downs, and that's near Salisbury in Wiltshire. It's not only is it great for a really crazy looking bird called a stone curlew, which looks a little bit like that, but it's also fantastic for a whole range of butterflies. And another place that's great for butterflies is your own garden. So I've got myself a net, but what you get to do is catch a few things which are just absolutely gold dust. So this is probably my favourite butterfly. It's an orange tip, a male, and you can see a lovely little flash of orange as it flutters backwards and forwards. I catch it for a few minutes in a net, pop it inside the jar, and then what you can have is that pure joy when you see them fly away. Just like that. What to do if you find a fledgling, a little baby bird, away from the nest? Really good question, and it's probably going to come up quite a few times. We get a lot of calls at this time of year around baby birds, injured birds as well. Some really important advice on this, really easy to find on the RSPB website too. But what you will find is that some birds will be probably coming out of their nests, sometimes by accident and sometimes on purpose. Most of this is entirely natural, and what you find is that the best thing that you can do is leave them be. If you are worried about them because there might be some dog, cats or something else around, you might be able to pop them into the undergrowth or put them a little bit higher up, but I would say the best thing to do is probably leave them be. It's quite natural for those birds to be coming out of the nest, and if they are out of the nest and they have little feathers, the parents will be close by and they will be looking to feed them wherever they are. Is it illegal to trim hedges right now? Good question. Right, there's loads of good advice on this, but to keep it simple, I'd say that what RSPB states is that it's recommended not to cut your hedges between the months of March and August. And whether that's in your garden or out in the wider countryside, that would be important because it would be an offence to intentionally damage or destroy any nests with eggs and chicks or adult birds in. So that would be really important. Okay, here's quite a good question. I have this same issue myself. In the morning, at the moment, I keep waking up to lots of birds chirping and pecking on my roof. How dare they? How come they are so noisy currently? Is it because of the time of year or is it just me? Well, I wouldn't say it's just you, and I think you're onto something already there. So definitely it's the time of the year. With spring, you're going to have the dawn chorus. You're going to have the evening chorus as well. So there's definitely going to be a lot more noisy birds all singing to advertise their territory and try and attract a mate. So you'll have all sorts of things that'll be calling, and the top of your roof is probably a pretty good place to project your voice if you're a wood pigeon or a song thrush or a blackbird? What advice can you give to a fledgling birdwatcher, one who's just getting started? Any books? Yes, I can. So I've been bird watching pretty much since I was tiny. I've actually got my very first bird books that I ever had inside the sleeves. I think one of them goes back to about 1988, maybe a little bit younger than that. But those are my very first ones. That's what got me interested. And I used to do a little bit of bird watching in the garden and photography as well. Just getting that little bit closer to the birds was great. Now, up to date, the best books that I'd probably suggest are these two. So, this is the Collins Guide, and this one is the RSPB British Birds. They're both excellent. This one's probably got a little bit more detail, probably some birds that come from Europe and various things like that, and all the different sort of like plumage types, the different colours, the different morphs, if you like, that you're going to see. So that's pretty good. But what you will find is that this one will probably tell you a little bit more about the bird. So it might tell you about its conservation status. So whether the bird's doing really well or whether it's not doing so well, where you might find it, or how many eggs it has. All those kind of things that are quite interesting. So those books are great. The other thing I'd probably say is get into birdsong, because birdsong will probably tell you more about what you've got around you. I'd probably say that of all the things that I hear and see, 80% is what I hear and 20% is what I probably see. So if you start to learn your common bird songs, whether that's blackbird, song thrushes, that's great. But then you start to learn the others, the willow warblers, the chiff-chaffs, maybe even a bittern. Those are the kind of things that can really get you underway. Okay, so for this next one, I might have to do some impressions, so we'll see how that goes, because they're not very good. This next question is, I want to learn how to ID birds by the song, but I'm not sure where to start. Any tips? Okay, a couple of things on this one. First thing is probably get yourself a really good book and CD, which helps you to learn some of those. Adrian Thomas, who's a good friend and a great colleague that I work with, has written a book for the RSPB. It's fantastic, well worth getting. If you can pick that up, that'd be a great start. Secondly, I'd probably make sure you spend time with your binoculars if you can, actually looking at the things that are making the noises. So instead of just learning the calls from the internet or from a CD, actually try and go out to where they are and listen to those birds and try and look at them at the same time. And that will help ingrain those noises and those songs and those calls, and you'll be able to assign them to a bird more easily. Now, a few birds are probably quite easy because in terms of their calls, they're quite recognisable. Cuckoo would be one, where you've got that lovely cuckoo, cuckoo. You've also got the chiff-chaff, chiff-chaff, chiff-chaff. Then you've got some slightly more complex ones, and even ones that you probably wouldn't even know. So a lot of people know the tawny owl, which does a really nice wick, wick, and you sometimes get the whoo from another bird. Barn owls, interestingly, sound a little bit like a coffee percolator. So you might hear a in the middle of the night, and that's actually a barn owl calling, which is pretty cool. So there's lots of ones that you can learn. Sometimes people use words to describe those calls as well. So a little bit of bread and no cheese is the call that some people use for a yellowhammer. So it goes a little bit of bread and no cheese, which is quite a nice little ditty. Well, I think that's nearly it. I've absolutely loved it. Hopefully you've enjoyed it too. It's been absolutely great. I'm quite happy to hear some more questions into the future. And really my last parting point is to say, just enjoy, have fun, and have that adventure when you're outside and enjoying the nature that's around you. These are extraordinary times at the moment, and being able to enjoy the nature that you have in your garden, getting closer to it. I think we all as society have found that, you know, the life support system that the environment provides us is so crucial to everything around our health and well-being, and certainly I value it even more than I did, which was a huge amount before. So yeah, I hope you found something that's just given you a little peak of interest and maybe taking you a little bit further too. Take care and see you again soon. Bye bye.